Good morning, Floss Tube. It's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Saturday. It is, I believe, the 6th of August. And this is Chart of the Week video number 139. Welcome. How are you today? I'm doing good. Been a good week. Not a lot of stitching done on my part. I did take a little spill out in the garden on Wednesday, so I was feeling it on Thursday, so I was feeling it pretty good Thursday and yesterday, but today's much better. I feel much improved, so I should be able to stitch tonight. Hopefully you got a lot of stitching done this week. I just kind of sat and read and watched TV since I couldn't stitch. Talked to Dan a little bit. You know, you got to throw him a bone every once in a while. So anyway, let's talk about last week's video. I had a few comments and questions that I wanted to address. First of all, I'm reading my notes here. First of all, thank you for the anniversary wishes. Dan and I did have our steak dinner on Tuesday night. It was very good. We hadn't had steak in quite a while, and he bought filet mignon, so it was good. It was very good. We had a nice dinner and a good evening, so thank you for those anniversary wishes. I appreciate them. Had a couple of ladies last weekend come in. It was another very busy Saturday, and they were very patient. They were from Kansas. First time visiting the shop. It was lovely to meet them. Their names were Julia and Denise, and thank you for making the trip up here. I appreciate it, and hopefully you'll come back. Well, I know they're coming back in October because they heard about the retreat and they went ahead and signed up for it. So I know I'll see them at least in October. But thank you, ladies, for stopping in. It was a pleasure to meet you. Okay. Comments. I'd asked your advice on what to do as far as, when it's really busy and it's just me and I'm only one person. Lots of suggestions for a bell on the door. Already have one, but if you're at the serger, you cannot hear the bell. You can't hear someone standing next to you and screaming in your ear. The serger is really loud. So you cannot hear the bell when the door opens. I also have a dinger in the back room for when I'm back there, but the problem is, due to settling at the building, my door doesn't close all the way. If it does, then it makes it really, really hard to open. So a lot of the times the door is kind of cracked, and if the door is cracked, then the connection's not there for the dinger to go off. So it's kind of a catch-22. You close the door all the way, and then people think you're closed because they can't get the door open. And yes, I've had a door person out 3 times to the tune of $600, and they've done all they can. The next step is to remove the entire front window area, which is 5 panels of glass, and all the metal trim between the panels of glass. And it would cost thousands upon thousands of dollars, and I'm not doing it, and it's at my expense. So there is that. Come winter time, the door will close, and then the dinger will be heard. But right now, the door's usually cracked about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch, so that people can actually get it open. But I appreciate the suggestions. Also, you had mentioned teaching Melanie how to cut fabric. She already knows how to cut fabric. The issue there is she only works a couple hours, a couple of days a week. She doesn't like to be in here when there's a lot of people. Melanie's has the son and daughter with the compromised immune system. She's also compromised, so she doesn't really want to be here when there's a lot of people here. So she usually works early in the morning and goes home by like 11. On rare occasions she'll stay longer, but she does like to be in and out before there's a lot of people here. And I can't really afford anyone else. She works cheap. so I'm just stuck with me. But I do appreciate your suggestions on how to handle the large crowds and keeping everyone happy. Most of it I'm already doing, so I think we're okay there. And a couple of you mentioned that it would never occur to you to ask if you can touch the fabric in a shop, that you figure if it's out, it's okay to touch. And for me, it used to be that way, because I used to keep the fabric by color, by count and color. So as long as you stuck it in the right cubby with, the right color, it was fine. And it was easy to see when someone would take and not put it in the right color cubby. But when the pandemic hit and people started calling and asking, do you have this specific, because prior to the pandemic, then that never happened. No one ever called me and asked me if I had a specific fabric. But since the pandemic, I get calls almost every day. Do you have this fabric? Do you have that fabric? Do you have this fabric? Do you have that fabric? And it was taking a long time to sort through the fabric and find it. So I was keeping people on the phone, or I was having to call them back. It's much easier when it's alphabetical. I can go and just, yep, I've got it, here it is, and boom, go on with the sale. So that's when I alphabetized it, and it's not easy. Therefore, when people just shove it in, then the next time I go to look for a specific fabric and it's not in alphabetical order, then I end up telling them, no, I don't have it, because as far as I know, I don't have it. And a lot of times, because I cut to the square inch, I may have it. It may say I have a lot in the computer, but it may all be, I've said this before, it may all be 6 by 6 inches, because that's what's left over. But it can look like there's 1,500 square inches, but it's all small pieces, and they're in other places, not in the regular fabric. So fabric is a difficult thing. And I don't know if other people, I don't know how other shops do their fabric. That's just how I am doing it. So, yeah, feel free, but either just leave it on the table or put it back where in the exact spot you found it in would be greatly appreciated and save me more time, because it takes time to alphabetize all the fabric. If I have to go through it at the end of every day and try and find everything that was pulled out and put back in the wrong place, I'm only one person. So that's why I appreciate it, and I'm sure other shop owners do. They may not have any system. They may just say, yeah, just shove it in anywhere. But for me, it's alphabetical, so it does kind of make a difference. But you're welcome to dig through it. Just if you don't want to put it back where you got it, just sit it on the table, please. Let's see. Stacy asked if I'd ever done a shop tour video. I don't think so, Stacy. To the best of my knowledge, I haven't done a shop tour video. Or if I have, it's been quite a while. Maybe right after I opened in this location, I might have done one. But not recently. I will ponder that. And, it took me forever to get the bathroom one done, so who knows? It might happen. Shar asked if I have comfy chairs and signs saying to come ask for help. I do have chairs, because we used to have, I don't know that you can, no, you probably can't see back there. There are 2 long tables back there with chairs, with cushions. Are they comfy like an armchair? No. But they're comfortable to sit on. When we used to have stitching in here, people would sit in them all day, and they were plenty comfortable. So, yes, I do have a place for people to sit down when they're waiting, and they're more than welcome to do that. They're more than welcome to take out their stitching and stitch, should they have brought it with them. So, Susan commented that she prefers pre-cut fabric, as she doesn't understand how it's charged or how it's cut. My local stitchers prefer it cut by the square inch, and since that was predominantly who I was selling my fabric to, that is how I started, and that's probably how I will continue because it's all set up in the computer that way. I do know that some of you may not know how to figure out the number of square inches, because when you're purchasing it from me, you need to do two separate things. You need to figure out the number of square inches, and underneath the Add to Cart button, I have a little paragraph that explains exactly how to do it. But I'll explain it here just in case you don't. Let's say you need an 8 by 10 piece of fabric. You're going to multiply the 8 times the 10 and get 80. That's the number of square inches that you need to put into the quantity box. And then in the notes section, which you will get to when you're, I think it's in the payment screen, if I'm remembering correctly. When you get to the notes section, if you would put the cut size in the notes section, because the number of square inches doesn't necessarily tell me what size you need it cut to. Like, I could assume if you put in 80 square inches that you might want an 8 by 10, but that's not always true. So in the notes section, if you just put please cut the fabric in an 8 by 10, or please cut 2 pieces 10 by 10 if you need, 200 square inches, or, so that's what the notes section is for, is to let me know how to cut that fabric. That will also speed up the processing of your order, because then I don't have to send you an email and say, hey, how did you want that cut? So hopefully that helps. And it's so the price in the computer is by the square inch. So if it says 0.09, it's 9 cents per square inch. So that a 10 by 10 piece would be $9. So that's how it's priced, that's how it's cut, that's how you figure out the number of square inches, and hopefully that will help. Stitchaholic, she thinks a sample board of fabric colors would be nice. In a perfect world, yes, that would be nice. However, I have way too many different fabrics to do a sampler board, and the dye lots change so often that even if I did a sampler a month later, another yard of fabric comes in, it may look entirely different, so what's on the sample board wouldn't work. So it's a good idea, and I did start that back when Marianne and I first brought cross stitch in, when she owned the shop. One of the first things we brought in was some fabric, because you can kind of choose a chart online, but fabric is hard online. That's why the closing of the local needlework shops is a bad thing, because it's hard to pick. I hear it all the time. I ordered this fabric from this online store and I couldn't, it was nothing like the picture. And it's true. Most of the pictures in the website or on the website don't truly represent what the color looks like. So you either have to build a relationship with a shop owner that you deal with, who can tell you, yep, that works, or no, that doesn't, or it wouldn't be my pick, kind of thing, or you need to have an LNS, and those are going by the wayside, pretty fast paced. This economy is not doing us any favors. So that's why sampler board wouldn't really work, because they're just trying to keep it up to date would be like a full-time job. Several mentioned asking those wanting the fabric, multiple cuts of fabric, to come back later, which is great if they're local, but a lot of them that were there that day were from out of town. So asking them to come back, and if I asked them to come back in 30 minutes, if I didn't get to them in that 30 minutes, they'd come back and then they'd be even more irritated because I told them to come back in 30 minutes and it still wasn't ready. So while I appreciate that suggestion, it really, in this particular case, it doesn't really work. If they're a local person, that's not a problem. And my local people are very understanding about it. But again, it was predominantly out-of-town people. So, I think that's pretty much all of the comments and questions that I wanted to address. Thank you for answering the question. I appreciate the assistance. I think I have a good handle on how to help people, but sometimes I question myself, or it doesn't hurt to get other opinions and maybe come up with other ways to do things. Change is sometimes a good thing, even though I fight against it tooth and nail. So anyway, that should take care of last week. The chart of the week for this week is from Silver Creek Samplers. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're in August already. And fall will be here shortly. Doesn't feel like it today. I think this is supposed to be the hottest day we've had. Sorry, I have a tickle. Hottest day we've had in a while. And heat index is supposed to be really high. So, but fall is just around the corner. September will be here before we know it, because we're already at the 6th and time just flies. So I thought a fall chart would be a good one to address today. We did Christmas last week. Why not fall this week? So it's from Silver Creek Samplers. It's one of my favorites from Diane. And it's called Olivia Ochreleiph, which, I mean, the name itself is enough to make you want to buy the chart. But it's this beautiful lady. Her dress is made out of fall leaves. The colors are really pretty. The same, because it's hard to see, this light color. So let me see if I can read it without my glasses. She wears a dress of scattered red and orange leaves from overhead that sparkle with a frosty glow, soon buried in a winter snow. Now, this isn't a new chart. It's from 2017. But it's always been a favorite of mine. So I thought I would share it with you. The stitch count is 123 by 126, so it's not huge. It does call for quite a bit of floss. There's one Gentle Arts, which I don't have, so I substituted. And the rest are all Weeks Dye Works. Calls for 32 count Silk Weaver French Vanilla Swirl, Lugana, over 2 using 2 strands of floss. But again, I don't have that. I have not ever seen that color, so I'm gonna imagine that it might be kind of a creamy beigey color. So I went with, for the closest that I could come up with, in my head, is 32 count Colonial Parchment from Stephanie, which looks something like this. It's a beautiful fabric. And then these are all the beautiful fall colors. Aren't they pretty? Very pretty. This color right here, those are the predominantly the words in this chart. But that looks very nice on there. But I have options. I do. This next option is from Fox and Rabbit. This is a 40 count flannel flower, which is kind of a creamy yellow base, and then it's got splotches of gray on it. So it looks like that. And I think that would be really pretty. And everything shows up well on there. Next up is Paperbark from Fox and Rabbits. This is a 40 count also. I think I have some in maybe 36 or 32. I'm not 100% sure which one. But it's a pretty yellow fabric, but it's very pretty. However, if you don't like yellow fabric, you're probably not going to like this as an option. But I still think everything shows up nicely on it. What do you think? Did you like that one? I find that people either like yellow fabric or don't like yellow fabric. You know, there's no, yeah, yellow fabric is okay. It's usually a pretty hard yes or no. This is 32 count Regency Belfast linen from Seraphim, which is a greenish, pale greenish color. And it looks like that, which I thought was very pretty also. Let me get it a little closer for you, but not too close. Got to still be able to see that fabric. Now, the words might begin to be an issue on this fabric. So I sat and I thought about what I would do if it were me and I wanted to stitch it on this fabric. They may show up okay, but if they didn't, another option, Old Money is a little bit, from Classic Colorworks, is a little bit darker, still in the same color family. It's a little bit darker though, so it might show up a little better. And then I went darker still with some Stormy Night that I think would go well with the rest of the colors. Or if you want really dark, which on this I probably wouldn't, but you could go Tin Bucket. However, you could also just choose one of the multiple colors that you have hanging here that you think, like, you know, the green or the gold or the one of the browns, and use those for your words. So you have a lot of options. If you don't think this is going to show up, you have a lot of other options. And we like to have options. Next up is 36 count Hogbristle, again from Fox and Rabbit. It's kind of a greenish khaki color, I would say. Got some gold tone to it. But I think everything looks really nice on that. It would give it a nice autumn look. So I like that one. Also, kind of in the same vein is 32 count Prairie Grass from Seraphim, I believe. It's maybe kind of in the same tone, but it has a little bit of blushiness to it. I think you can kind of see that there. I don't know if you can tell the color real well, but it kind of has a blush color running through it. On this piece, anyway. But again, everything would show, and I think it would give it a nice fall look. I have some 16 count Ale from Picture This Plus, Ada of course, that I think would do fine also. And again, give you that nice fall Nice fall look. Now, brightening things up just a tad. This is Mystic Gray. It's an 18 count Aida. It falls on the blue side of gray. And this, the word color would also be an issue. I think it would, but I like all the rest of the colors on it. So again, you could use any of these others for your words, or one of the options that I gave earlier. But I do like the colors on that. So I like them so well that I chose a couple other blues. This is 36 count Smoky Blue. It's a little darker than the Mystic Gray. Isn't that pretty? But again, dove is going to be an issue, so keep that in mind. And I also tried out 40 count Eucalyptus from Fox and Rabbit. Look kind of crooked. Isn't that pretty? I would kind of give it a stormy afternoon look. The wind howling and the leaves blowing. This is 36 count Granite. It's from Zweigart. It's a nice, rich, kind of taupey brown color. Everything looks good on there. And last but not least, I have a 25 count Lugana called Dark Chocolate. This is really luscious. Isn't that pretty? I think that would be really pretty. The only issue you may have would be with these two colors right here. But I think, especially if you're going over two and using two strands, I think you'd be okay. Otherwise, I would just darken up. I think the one, what did I look at? One is the branches. I think that's this one, which is Grapevine, is the branches at the top of the, the top of the picture here. So if you needed to, you could always darken that up a little bit or make it greener. And the other is the birds, and again, you could just do a full-on black, but I think the birds will show up. They're not going to stand out, but I think they'll show up. But I do like the colors on here too. So that was a lot of fabrics to show you. Hopefully you absorbed it all. And hopefully you liked the chart. Sometimes it's just good to kind of go back in time and look at some things that maybe you liked, forgot about. Diane has some wonderful designs. I've pulled a couple of my favorites of hers just to kind of show you in case you aren't familiar with her. This one is called Old Black Clock, and I wouldn't have given it a second look based on the picture, but I did see it stitched up at market, And when I saw it stitched up at market, I had to bring it home, and she was already sold out of it. So obviously, I wasn't the only one who liked it. And I don't think it was new even at that time. I just think she brought some older things with her to market. And so it looks like this. And again, it doesn't look like much from that picture, but stitched up it was really pretty, and I knew I had to have it. It says, my old black clock goes tick-tock. I wind it with a key, so all week long, I really need to wear my glasses, so all week long it can ding-dong and say hello to me. So, there was that one. The Seeds of Freedom. It's a kind of a patriotic piece. I have seen it stitched up, and it is stunning. It looks like this, and this up here is just in this gorgeous stitched up. She has the greatest font, don't you think? Her font is wonderful. So I really like that one. It's also in my stash. All of these are actually in my stash. And then Freedom Reigns. Got a barn on it. And it looks like, let me get it, I should have taken these out and been a little more prepared, huh? Looks like this. I think that barn is adorable. So, those are just a few of her many designs. You can check them out. I'm sure she has a website. Well, she's got a blog. So, I'm sure you can check them out there. Hopefully you'll find something that you like. So, that takes care of this week's chart of the week. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching it. We shall now ask about the question of the day, which I have written down on a piece of paper that I currently don't know where it is. There it is. Okay, so let's pretend, shall we? Let's pretend it's the middle of the night and you've been sleeping, and then you wake up and you can't get back to sleep. What do? Are you one of those that gets up and goes and heats up some milk and drinks some milk and then gets back to sleep? Do you grab your Kindle next to you or your book and read until you're tired and go back to sleep? Do you get up and watch TV? Do you get up and stitch? What do you do in the middle of the night when you can't sleep? I don't like to get up in the middle of the night. I am not going to get out of my nice, warm, comfortable bed and get up and go downstairs and watch TV. Now, I do have a TV in the room, but there's really not a whole lot on that I want to watch in the middle of the night. So 9 times out of 10, I am either doing one of two things. I am designing a room in my head, or I am planning things for retreat. So, like last week with the big lottery, or was it? Yeah, or was it this week? I think it was last week that the drawing was held. I was sure I was going to win it. So I was planning in my head, because I want to buy that place where we go for the 4th of July, and it's going to be several $1 million just to buy it, and probably several million to renovate it. But I was sure I was going to win, so I was laying in bed in the middle of the night, and I was redesigning the place and knocking down walls and adding walls and it's going to need this and it's going to need that, and that kind of thing. And I did that a lot for the bedroom and the bathroom. When I'd wake up in the middle of the night and couldn't get back to sleep, I'd ponder what I was going to do there. So since I didn't win the lottery, now I'm back to thinking about my kitchen and what I want to do in my kitchen someday, not anytime soon. I don't often read when I wake up like that. Mostly I'm decorating something in my head. So I was just curious what you guys do to get yourself to go back to sleep when you wake up in the middle of the night. So I think that's pretty much all I have. Do I have anything else? Oh, quick reminder, I am going out of town, so the shop will be closed next Friday and Saturday. I'll be back in on Tuesday. I will not be here in the morning on Wednesday this coming week. Lori is going to cover for me, though. I have a dermatology appointment. I've never had a body check for skin cancer, and I think I've got a spot on my arm that's suspicious. So I am going to have that checked out. But I will be here later in the day. But Lori will be here at 10 o'clock. So the shop won't be closed. I just won't be here. The gal with the boots is walking by. Her skirt's not short today. That's a good thing. Let's see, is there anything else? Those were the reminders. For those of you in Nebraska, the deadline for entering the state fair is, I think it has to be in by midnight Tuesday, which means I need to get off my butt and get my entries. I think I can do 4. You can only have 2 per category, and all pretty much 3 of my items all fit only in the 40 count category. They're not a holiday, so one of them is not going to be able to go, and I haven't decided which one that will be yet. So I'll have 4 that I can send to the fair. I feel like I should have more, but nothing is coming to mind as having been finished sometime in the last 3 years that hasn't already gone. So I think it's going to be 4. But anyway, if you're in Nebraska and you're going to put something in the fair, I think you have until Tuesday night at midnight to get your stuff entered. And then if you are here in town and you want Lori to pick your stuff up to take it, then you need to have it here by close of business on Thursday. And then she will pick it up on her way back home. She's coming to town to go with the group of us for Connie's birthday. So she will take them home with her when we get back into town on Monday. So those are the important dates coming up. I think that's all the important dates coming up for right now. Other than that, I don't know a whole lot. Abby wants us to come out and visit tomorrow. I haven't decided if we're going or not. I have a few things for retreat I would like to try and get done this weekend. But we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. The shop needs to open here in 10 minutes, so I'm going to let you go, put my mess away, and, because I'm out of town, there will not be a chart of the week next week. I do plan to kind of do a video from our little getaway like I did the last time. I have figured out the sound, so everyone should be able to hear it. I don't know if it can post. Wi-Fi up there is spotty, so it probably won't get posted until Tuesday, maybe. I get home on Monday, and maybe on Tuesday it'll get posted. If I can get it to upload, I'll upload it sooner than that, but I wouldn't stake my life on it. So, in the meantime, you guys have a fabulous, fabulous week. Get lots of stitching done. Have some fun this weekend, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because it does help others find my channel. So take care till next time. Bye.